Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
All right, Ken, thanks very much. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Friday the 13th. And, boy, that's one of those days, especially when the Penguins and Flyers play. You never know what you're going to get. And we got a lot of that tonight in game number 2. The Flyers, with a really nice response to a 7-0 whitewash in game 1. Their people in Philadelphia were saying the series was over. As we've learned over time, at least you should learn, these are long series and there are ups and downs, and there will continue to be. And tonight was one of those downers for the Penguins. They had multiple opportunities. It's a lot of goal posts. Sidney Crosby just not only did he miss on a breakaway, but he missed a wide open net, not unlike what we saw in game 1 that happened to Philadelphia. So Lawton was wide open and he fanned on the first shot. So it happens. It's hockey, and tonight Philadelphia comes away with a 5-1 win. Paul Zeise of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette at 93.7 The Fan is here. Many components to this game we'll talk about. I'll say there's the Flyers. If you're a Philadelphia fan, you have to be encouraged by that response, specifically Brian Elliott.
Yep. I think Elliott is the story for tonight, really. People were talking about how he was spooked out by the Penguins, how he couldn't play against the Penguins, how, you know, when he got knocked out of the game the other night, he was basically, that was it. They were in his head that they had done to him what they did to Holtby and Bobrovsky and all that other stuff. Well, he comes back and he shows you once again why it's really silly to make statements about a series after one game or 2 games or even 4 games. Whatever happened in game 1 does not usually carry over to game 2. You knew that Philadelphia was going to come back with a response. They played really well, and they got a couple of bounces. And people would say, well, they were lucky. But you know what? They outplayed the Penguins tonight. They deserved to win the game.
They did. Travis Konechny, I thought, had a very good game. Claude Giroux had a good game as well. He also was involved in a collision with Chris Letang, which to me was very borderline at the very least. The Penguin players seemed to think it went over the line. Mike Sullivan was asked, his quote was, I have an opinion, but I'm not going to share it. And the way he said it made you know that they're not happy. I thought that was a hit, that Giroux knew what was going on, and he saw Letang, and he came up high into Letang's head. That's the way I saw it. Now, a lot of people out there may disagree with that. What's your take?
I don't know. It's hard to say that. I know that if you watch it in slow motion, it kind of looks like he was looking behind and saw it and went high. I don't know if he would intentionally hit the guy in the head, though. I mean, I think, you know, I don't know that if he went to Letang's head intentionally. Clearly, he tried to induce contact or whatever and all that. But I would say it was a borderline hit, but I'm not convinced 100% that it was legitimately dirty.
Yeah, and I think it was borderline. That's the way I'll leave it. Borderline. The league will decide if they decide anything at all tonight. By the way, Nazem Kadri got a 3-game suspension. I thought he might have gotten more, but it is the playoffs. He's going to miss 3 critical games for Toronto for a hit that was clearly with intent last night against Tommy Wingels of the Bruins. Anyway, the Penguins, a lot of people wondered about Matt Murray in this game. Well, listen, I'm here to tell you he came off 3 consecutive shutouts in high-leverage games. Yes, you can look at the goal by Konechny, which was a nice individual play. He went up high. Maybe he should have made that play. You can label some of these as soft, but I also give credit to the Flyers for doing what they had to do. And Nolan Patrick is a big guy. We talked about him before the series started. He's an 18-year-old kid, big body. You get traffic in front of any goaltender, Paul, you're going to get some results. That's what the Penguins do with Hornqvist and Zach Aston-Reese.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you know, it all goes back to the same thing we just talked about. The Flyers outplayed the Penguins tonight, period. And as a result, you know, they got a couple of bounces to go their way. But I'm a firm believer that, you know what, you make your own luck. I'm a firm believer that when you the ball, puck, whatever, bounces your way. And so, yeah, Matt Murray, I would say of the 4 goals that he gave up, maybe 1 you could say, well, you know, he should have stopped that one. But that still leaves 3 other ones that went in that were probably a result of the Flyers, you know, just outplaying the Penguins and putting themselves in position to score.
All right, the other thing going on tonight was the Pirates. They were in Miami. Now, coming off of a 9-3 beginning with 3 games in Chicago in which they won 2 of 3. You would think, okay, this is like a JV team. This is like a minor league AAA team, the Marlins, who devastated through trades as Derek Jeter and his ownership group was just to dismantle that team. However, they have some talent, and that talent rose tonight. The Pirates made some fundamental breakdowns. Very rarely, Paul, do you see a score 3 runs. But because of an error by Elias Diaz, it did. That and another bad play, fundamentally with a bunt and then no one covers home plate. They leave it vacant. The guy scores from second base. You just can't do that. They lose 7-2 tonight to the Marlins.
And Starlin Marte gets picked off in between first and second.
Course,
and then, Corey Dickerson got away with it, but he tagged up and had no business tagging up. And if it would have been a throw that was that the third baseman fielded cleanly, he would have got thrown out with a third out at third base. So tonight was just an ugly night for the Pirates. We saw a lot of the silly stuff that we saw all last year and the year before. Elias Diaz, the play on the bunt, I don't know that I blame him, though. I blame the pitcher,
no,
Cal
someone
Crick.
had to cover.
Either
Crick's
Cal Crick or Freeze.
Right.
One of those guys has to understand the situation, that if the catcher's coming out to field the bunt or whatever.
Well, I'm going to, at that situation, look at Freeze. He's a veteran. Right. He should know that. Kyle Crick is a young player. Okay, he should know it also. But
one or the other has to understand that the situation, that your catcher's running out and there's a guy coming around third. Somebody needs to be at the home plate. And it was so that was just kind of one of those things. But it's one of those nights. Yeah. I guess what's frustrating is the pitcher who started the game had an ERA of like 9.2 coming into this game.
Tomorrow's. And they only had 5 hits, the Pirates. And you knew that was going to level off as well.
As for Chad Coolbaugh, I've said it all off season, and I'll say it again. I just don't think he's good enough.
No, I don't. I think he is what he is. He's a back of the rotation kind of guy. When he's on, he's very good. When he's not, and he's not been on, he gave up 11 hits and 4 runs in 5 innings tonight. Certainly not good enough. We're due for a break. We'll take it. Come back. 412-575-2600. That is the number to call. Give us a shout. We'll take those calls next and tweets right here live on Pittsburgh CW.